Hello everyone, I hope you're all having an amazing day. A few weeks ago, we looked at my favorite film of 2022, Everything Everywhere All at Once. We broke down the amazing messages and themes in it, the representation of perspective and happiness in life, and how we can help each other. This week, we're looking at another wonderful introspective film by the Daniels. We're looking at Swiss Army Man. This movie again is something that just grows on you, and it becomes more amazing as you think on it. I mean, just filmmaking brilliance. I am very much looking forward to talking about all the incredible themes, so why don't we just dive into it? On the outside, the film is very goofy. We follow a story of friendship and rejuvenation. The film starts with a man named Hank, stranded on an island. On the verge of ending his life, he spots another man laying on the beach. He discovers this man is dead and is once again left hopeless. Just as he's about to give up, the most absurd thing happens. This man starts farting. Yes, farting. Farting so much that he starts to move. What happens next is something I would have never expected, but it was magical, absurd, goofy, and one of the craziest openings to a film I have ever seen. Hank rides this man like a jet ski as he farts his way across the sea, back to the outskirts of civilization. It was truly such a memorable scene. This corpse is given a name, and his name is Manny. Once we're back to the civilized land, Hank feels obligated not to leave him as he helped him get back to where he needed to be. So he carries him on his back through the wilderness as he searches to make it back home. The rest of the movie follows the pair as they progress through their journey. Hank learns Manny is more than just a corpse, but an extraordinary being who can provide anything he needs. A true Swiss Army man.
Oh, Super Manny, save me!
You got something in there. You're like the multi-purpose tool guy. You're special.
If Hank needs water, Manny will become a fountain. If he needs to hunt, he'll become a gun. He can be anything Hank needs, and this will play into the themes we discuss later. As the story progresses, Manny learns to speak, and they become friends. Manny is basically a blank mind, and Hank has to teach him all about life. The film is so charming, and despite just having two characters traverse through the forest, it never gets boring. A lot of that can be accredited to Paul Dano and Daniel Radcliffe, who are just brilliant. There is so many beautifully written moments, but it's also hilarious what Hank chooses to tell Manny when he's describing what life is.
If you don't know Jurassic Park, you don't know shit.
There's plenty of heartwarming moments as we learn more about Hank as a person, his loneliness, his upbringing, his lack of relationships despite yearning for connection. And then we have Hank recreating for Manny what it's like to meet someone you like for the first time.
She smiles, and you feel a strange tingle up the back of your neck. You feel like the luckiest man in the world.
It's all great stuff, and it leads up to this ending that had me on the verge of tears. I mean, come on, seeing him struggle with letting go of Manny, and then Hank silently shaking his head when being asked if he's okay or needs help, that was heartbreaking.
He's lost in what he needs help.
Is that true? You okay?
I would also like to say that the sound design is incredible. We get these wonderful chant-like pieces of music to correlate the scenes. It makes it all feel so much more grand and scaled up. I absolutely adore this film, and it's great that it's left up for the viewer to gather their own thoughts and takeaways. So if you've seen it, I would love to hear your takeaways in the comments, but here's my perspective on the film. So when we start, Hank is stranded alone on an island where he's isolated, stuck with his darkest thoughts and on the verge of unaliving himself. But just before he does it, there's a glimmer of hope. There's Manny to pull him out. It could be a representation of multiple things. One perspective that I had was all it takes is one person to show you that life matters, to present all the good parts of living. The journey they go on together shows us so much. Hank helped Manny despite being in a bad place mentally, and in turn, Manny helped Hank. The speech about all it takes is one person rings through especially true. In the end, Manny helped Hank off of this island of sadness and isolation into a world of admiration and hope where Hank is once again looking forward to living. Another thing I thought it could represent is your inner joy coming back to life. Manny in this film being a metaphor for the wacky, the goofy, the curious, all the aspects of yourself that make life fun, and he's coming back to life throughout the movie. Hank and Manny, or just Hank if that's how you interpret it, goes on a journey rediscovering all his love for life, finally indulging in that side of him, and learning to love himself and life for what it is. All of it, the amazing, the funny, the crude, even the parts that society tries to ignore. He saves himself by taking it back to the basics, retrospection on the little things in life. Him teaching Manny about all the nuances and fun of what life is, was Hank reminding himself of the enjoyment in the world. The messages can be reminiscent of everything everywhere all at once, but it's really on us and our perspective to make the most out of our lives. I heard this quote the other day that success is what you make it. Basically, you determine what success means to you. Don't let others tell you what to do or what you've accomplished isn't enough. As long as what you are doing is good enough for you, as long as you're happy with who you are, that's what matters. That's what success is. And that sentiment is shared in these films. Life can be bleak, it can be stressful, it can be painful. As humans, we tend to overcomplicate things or blow them out of proportion. We can ruin our own experiences. But if we do what Hank does, if we take the time to remember the simplicities of life, if we remember the enjoyments in life, if we do what Wayman does, if we accept that life is crazy and stupid and absurd and not always what we want, but we still choose to see the good in it, we still choose to embrace and value that in which we love. If we do all that, then it's really up to us how we experience life. Within the past year, the Daniels have become two of my favorite directors. I love spreading messages of positivity, and they outsource all the messages that I think can help so many people. These values are what made me who I am today and saved me from a lifestyle that I was not looking forward to. As I stated in my video looking at everything everywhere all at once, I was someone who was very unhappy in my youth, taking a nihilistic viewpoint on life. But at some point I decided in order to be happy, I have to start forcing myself to look at the best aspects of life, even if they are small. Eventually, that started to change my mindset. I started to prioritize my happiness in my decisions. I started to find passion and enjoyment in life. I learned to love what I was doing regardless of what was happening. There's security in knowing that no matter what happens, you'll be alright because you yourself are alright. I implore, if you're unhappy in life, to take a second and focus on something good. Whether positive memories of your past, hopeful dreams for your future, someone you love, things that can make you laugh. Life is constantly changing, but if you can find happiness within yourself and within that mess, that will never change. I just want to leave off from the same message of the last video as well. Just be kind. I know we can't read into others' lives, but you never know how much an act of kindness can change someone's perspective or their life. You can be that positive memory that someone holds on to. Anyways, I loved Swiss Army Man, and obviously it's goofy and absurd, but I suppose that's the point, to embrace the positivity in it all. I highly recommend you to check it out if you haven't seen it, because there's a lot of fun to be had. If you have seen it, I would love to hear your perspective. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Peace.